And thank you for joining us. My name is Matt Scherer. I'm with PMA Practice Transitions, and I primarily cover all of Ohio and Western PA, and I assist dental professionals in buying and selling practices. And my colleague here is
Joe Gordon, and I do exactly what Matt does in the great state of Indiana and northern Kentucky.
awesome. So today's topic is financing.
Something near and dear to Matt's heart.
It is near and dear to my heart.
Financing.
Why is it near and dear to my heart? Because I spent over 10 years financing dental practices.
Exactly,
with
and
a large bank.
I spent 10 years trying to get money out of you
That's
to
right.
finance dental practices.
One of the biggest questions, Joe, that I think I got when I was in banking from buyers and actually from sellers is, can people get financing these days, especially when we went through the recession? But, today buyers are coming out of school with much more student loan debt, probably 3.25%, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less on average for a general dentist. And yes, banks are lending money to finance purchasing a practice.
Exactly, they are.
Yeah, and one of the big things that that banks do look for when you're looking at financing is, what do you look like on paper? Meaning, what does your debt look like? Do you have a lot of credit card debt? Obviously, you're going to have student loan debt. Do you have a house? What type of house? Is it $1 million house, or is it a $230,000 house? Do you have the Porsche in the garage, or do you drive the Chevy?
Mm-hmm.
Things of that nature. Because there's always two sides to a loan, right? There's the purchasing of the practice itself, and then there's being able to essentially personally finance your debt, right? So the key is when you're looking to buy a practice, and I know you helped many dentists in your 38 plus years of dental CPA, as I call it, make sure that your debt structure makes sense. Just because you put DMD or DDS after your name doesn't mean you go out and buy the Porsche, right, or the $1 million home. You've got to take things in stride.
The other thing is, too, there's a little difference in financing when it comes to buying an existing practice or starting one from scratch.
Yes.
There's going to be some different criteria we're going to look at. Another thing that can really help you on the finance side, if you are fortunate enough to have a spouse, or if you think that way, do they have a decent income coming in? Can they help supplement what the household needs to survive? And that goes a long way in terms of what you need to borrow, particularly on a startup standpoint.
Absolutely.
Because do you need to borrow money just to be able to eat?
Right. Just note, though, if you are going to include your spousal income, typically the banks will require your spouse to sign as a guarantor on the loan, which is okay, because down the road, as you grow your practice and you become more profitable and don't need that so-called income as support, you can always have her or him removed off of the loan. So one of the things also I want to touch on is when you're looking at, should I pay down debt or should I put money in the bank? What do I do? And certainly my advice to anyone is do what makes you sleep at night and makes you feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. But I will tell you that from the bank standpoint, at least the bank that I worked at, if you have student loan debt, that's okay. If you have money that's in the bank, savings, that's even better. Because when you buy a practice, that practice should be able to support your debts. And certainly from the bank standpoint, the stronger you look on paper, meaning you have money in the bank and you've got some debt, that's okay. But mainly you have money in the bank. And why is that important? Because if you ran into a situation where you needed to grab some of that money, you've got it there, and you don't have to go out and get more loans.
Exactly. So it's much more efficient to do it that way.
Absolutely.
We could go on for hours about this, and probably in some of our later segments we'll talk about some of the types of lenders that are out there and what you should look for from a lender and how they can support you and understand your transactions. But that's probably for another time down the road.
That's right. Well, we'll keep it. We'll cut it here for today. Again, Joe said we could probably talk another 30 minutes or an hour about financing. but certainly give us a call if you'd like to talk about it. We'd be happy to certainly sit down with you or chat over the phone. But we appreciate you joining us today. If you like us, give us a thumbs up, and please feel free to share us with your colleagues and friends. Thanks.